I'm that person that will probably hit and be like, I'm so sorry, like I wasn't. We're in
Yes.
the month of October.
Month of
We're in the scary season.
the
Whatever you want to call it.
Ooh,
Let's talk real quick. There's a lot of different movies in the theaters. Coming out and stuff. So probably a lot of them rated R, but your typical horror movies, right?
right.
So when we talk about making it make sense,
Yeah.
what is it about horror flicks? That people love feeling fear. What do you think? Where do you think that comes from?
Honestly, I don't know. I know that there's childhood trauma that I know I've experienced that made me scared. Like let me tell you something. Before Dawn of the Dead, I was scared of Pee Wee Herman. Okay,
Really?
when Marge, tell him Marge sent you when he got off of that he hitched the ride off of the big rig with the lady,
Mhm.
and she went all bug-eyed and buck wild, scared the fire out of me. I was like, I could not watch it. I never forget. I was 6 years old. It was on Channel 5. Every time that scene came, I ran out of the room after the first time I saw it. Totally scared. I'm probably a little bit scared of it now if I see it because of the fact that it could be just a childhood trauma trigger. I know, childhood trauma trigger.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. But I think some people correlated with them having a good time when they were kids, right? It could
Yeah,
be a
maybe.
memory thing, but I don't know. I just can't do it. Like, I don't like being scared.
Uh, I have a lot of PTSD, and I have it's it's very easy for me to have nightmares, and so I have to be careful and discern what I watch
Right.
to prevent that from happening. Because unfortunately, just like most of us do, when you're in the middle of a dream, you can't do nothing about it. Yeah, sit there and deal with whatever's dreaming, whatever you're dreaming.
Yeah,
so
no, for real.
so it's just it's not that's not something I want to be dreaming about.
Nah, it's not because you make look. You wake up and you may be soaking in wet or soaking in something else because you may be scared. Be like,
We were talking a little bit right before we went live, like about childhood trauma,
yeah,
and stuff. And I had mentioned to you about Jurassic Park.
yeah,
Really invoked a lot of fear and stuff. But anyways, um, so yeah, dreaming about the dinosaurs. I get you when it comes to the zombies, but I think the biggest things that I don't like watching are horror movies that are based on true stories,
true
that are
story.
based on things.
Yeah, man.
So when we talk about like a lot of the spiritual
Poltergeist.
movies, like movies even like I don't think this one was based on a true story, but I know there are stories based around it. We talk about like The Exorcist
Yes.
and stuff like that, people being possessed,
Yeah.
and God, what is it? The Haunting of Emily Rose or something like that. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it, but somebody was telling me the same thing too. Like those terrify me because um whatever belief system you have in everything, and just kind of bringing it back down to earth for a second, we live in a very spiritual world.
Yeah.
And so the idea of people invoking spirits, using Ouija boards and witchcraft to bring these things to light
To like.
and stuff are things that terrify me.
Yeah.
And because that's the realness. That's an enemy is
Yeah.
what I would call it. That's an enemy, and it's not something to be played with. And it's
No.
not something to take lightly either.
Right.
So I would encourage you, be safe around this time
Yeah.
of year and stuff. Always some Halloween shenanigans happening, pranks going too far. Um,
Yeah.
kids
Real.
thinking, that they're grown and they start, messing with the Ouija board and things start to happen. And I've I
Yeah.
haven't personally seen it, thank God, but I've heard stories from people who have messed around and found out that
Yeah.
FAFO, the F around
Yeah.
find out, they found out. They
No, for
found
real.
out and were never the same again type of find out. So
Exactly. So you know how they talk about, weed is a gateway drug.
oh yeah.
Movies could be a gateway to the demonic, I would say.
Yeah.
And for those who's watching and may not believe in stuff like that, Okay, well, just look at it like this. If you dress your kid up as a devil every Halloween, and then he grow up and it seems like something's wrong with him, that's because you made him depict himself as a devil for a couple years over and over and again. I truly believe our actions create our futures if you don't correct bad patterns and behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you look at some of the things that, you know, the movies that had these horror, these like some of the ones that like actually they say they actually happened, like Poltergeist, right? There's quite a few of those characters that are alive that are not alive now, and you know, I mean, there's darkness and evil is real.
So that's interesting because there's I don't know if there's a documentary, don't quote me on that, but I know that there's articles and YouTube videos on things that happened on the set while those movies were being filmed. If I'm not mistaken, on the set of The Exorcist, I think that they had 2 Catholic priests on set because there were things happening.
Right.
And so I'm like, I'm sorry, when you got to start calling Catholic priests to kind of bless off on things because things are going wrong just in the filming process, yeah, man, maybe that's a big red flag.
A red flag. I mean, but see, then that goes to the people with the money. They like, well, this show has to go on. I'm like, but
the show has to go on.
Really? You know, I'm about to pull something up. The Exorcist.
I'm positive it was The Exorcist. There was a lot of stuff happening around that.
See, there's Exorcist true story documentary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is they said that there was a real Exorcist story in St. Louis, Missouri, in March 23rd, 2022, and then The Exorcist is based on an actual DC area exorcism. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Every little lie or fib,
there's some truth to it.
There's some truth to it. There is some truth to it. You know, shout out to Dr. Pooh. Some movies are scary, but it's disturbing videos that freak me out. Every 3 seconds, there's something different, like a burning doll or maggots on a sandwich type thing. But he said, I obsessed with the occult movies. I understand you. However, I'm just not one for it, fam. I'm telling you, like, I never forget. I always wanted to watch The Exorcist. I never have. 2 reasons. One, I wasn't the only person scared to watch it. My older brother, he saw it. And then I was telling him, like, oh man, he was telling me how scary it was, which at the time, it made me want to watch it more. I understand that's crazy, but I was 13, you know what I'm saying? And so one of my homeboys let me borrow the video, and I had it in my room. I was gonna watch it. One thing led to another. I was like, "Where is this movie? Where is this? I can't." I asked my brother. I was like, "Hey, Tony, his name Tony." I said, "Tony, you seen the Exorcist movie?" Nah, I haven't. Right. 2 years later, I'm cleaning out the garage. Not gonna clean out the garage. I'm cleaning out the bedroom closet, and I see the tape broken, ripped up. You know, back then VHS, you could flip the thing in and then pull out the stuff.
I remember
seeing that, and I was like, "Oh, he ain't got to tell me. He ripped that tape up."
Corey, the thing for your eyes.
Yeah, it triggers something for him, and so I get it.
You know, as parents, you got to be smart too. We're the type of parents. We went to go see Beetlejuice because my daughter, she liked the original one. Grace is 8, and she likes the original Beetlejuice and stuff, and so she wanted to see the second one. I said, well, hang on a second. Things are a little different now whenever stuff comes out from Hollywood and people say, oh, it's good for kids, you know what I mean? Right. So like, well, we'll be the determining factor whether or not you watch this and stuff. And so, you know, my husband and I went to go see it just to make sure I'm still in the air about it. And she knows that. She bothers me all the time. When am I going to see it? You know, I don't know. We'll talk about it. You know, Daddy and I will pray about it first because,
Yeah,
you know, we don't know. As parents, we can discern stuff. You know,
right.
kids are impressionable,
And
and
their imagination is still free. It's not contained where they can really realize like this isn't real and this is real.
so
Yeah.
uh,
Dr. Poole,
be smart before you let your kids watch stuff. You know, go.
exactly. I
Yeah.
made that mistake and let my kids watch Doctor Strange. What is it? The Madness Doctor Strange movie. I
Oh,
was
the something worlds.
um, it's the second Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, something
And I thought it was
about
okay, but it
something
flipped them
about.
out
I
because
can't
there
remember,
was
but I know what you're talking about. Yes.
yeah, and it was like they had zombie heroes and stuff like I was like, whoa, I was not ready for them to see that. They weren't ready because they were like in a theater like this. And I'm sitting up there just shaking my head. It was almost like the don't do as I say, but not as I do. Like I should not have done this. I felt real bad.
I'm sorry,
Not
baby.
a,
I'm sorry.
Dr. Poole said religious and spiritual people don't supposed to be in those movies, even though it's all about their religion. He said, I grew up without being in church or having a super church family. So stuff about the church fascinated me, and that's how you found out about it through watching those movies.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Maybe Dr. Poole, we gotta have you come up on the show and explain some of that because you know what I'm saying. I would like to hear your take on how how these movies intrigues you. But so, and you know, you're Dr. Poole. For all those who don't know, Dr. Poole is a friend and family member of the TS show, technically speaking show. So he's, you know what I'm saying. He probably gonna be on within the next couple weeks or so, just to give us some feedback on that too. Because I always wanted to know why people like scary movies. Just you know what I'm saying. What is it? Is it the boo in you, or is it the you know what I'm saying?
People like that. They like that scare for some reason. This is the same
Yeah.
reason people go to like the 13th floor in these crazy haunted houses.
Yeah, I don't do haunted houses. Bless you. I've had too many encounters with things that is not that too many spiritual encounters where I feel like I'm okay, I'm good, because I know there's a difference between dark and
I have
evil.
bad reactions. I know I'm that person that will probably hit and be like, I'm so sorry. Like I wasn't my fighter's flight.
Yeah, also there's the fight, flight, and freeze. You're the fighter.
I was like, I did not mean to punch you. And I've told people like, don't do stupid stuff and scare me because you'll get hit because that's my first reaction.
Right. It's protection. Right. Mine, I freeze. I ain't gonna lie. I remember one time, my pops, he was like, he used to scare me around the house and stuff when I was a kid. And one time, I scared him and he punched the shit out of me. He was like, I was like, because he was around the corner and I was around the corner and I heard him coming up the stairs, and then I was like, boom, and he was like, I was like, oh, and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, son, I didn't mean to. I was like, it's okay, but I learned.
Quick throw punch changed your life, huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I realized, like, look, there's a fight, flight, and freeze. I'm a freezer. Like, somebody scared me one time. I think it was my kid, and I was like, they're like, Daddy, I'm processing. Give me a minute. You scared the shit out of me, and I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to do next.